Jing then looks at Zosen for a moment and, ignoring his request, decides to eat the chocolate, something that bothers Zosen. Jing then asks him to sit down and calmly places a piece of chocolate in his mouth and hands it to him. Zosen first savors the taste of the chocolate and then steals a kiss from Jing. Jing, surprised by his reaction, ends up pushing him away and feels cornered, while Zosen mentions that his patience has limits, saying that he doesn't even know how he'll act if Jing keeps getting closer to Xihong. Meanwhile, Jing tries to calm him down, explaining that he's only getting close to provoke Zosen and uncover the organization's purpose, asking him to cool his head and not fall into Xihong's trap. Zosen, however, questions whether this is just an excuse to get closer to Jing, mentioning that the way Xihong looks at him shows a lot of interest. He then tells Jing not to go to Chief Su anymore, saying he'll check with the other members of the organization about the current situation in the city. Additionally, he wants Jing to go straight home and not stay outside, as it could be dangerous. Jing then leaves, and as he walks, his mind almost burns with countless questions puzzling him. Step by step, observing the city lights illuminating the darkness of the night, he thinks there's something strange about Su Xihong. Despite being the same Interpol agent he met 10 years ago, there are many things about him that make the story of him being Chief Su's son at least intriguing. To start, no one in the city seems to know him. Moreover, in the long 10 years Chief Su has been here, he never mentioned him, just as Jing himself never saw him around. Jing, thinking about all these things, concludes that he wouldn't be able to sleep tonight without getting answers. Driven by curiosity, he decides to go talk to Chief Su himself. Upon entering the cafe, Jing calls for Chief Su and apologizes for bothering him so late at night, but the father isn't there, only Xihong, who asks what he wants with his father. Jing asks if he's upstairs, as he really needs to ask him something, and Xihong, curious, asks what he wants to know. At that moment, Xihong places his hand on the wall, blocking Jing's path. Noticing that Jing is bothered by something, Xihong tries to deduce his questions and, almost like a clairvoyant, asks Jing if he wants to know why the residents don't know him, or why he's never seen him return. He then tells Jing that if he wants answers to these and other questions, all he has to do is accept his proposal today. He'll tell him what organization Zosen leads and what they're after, once again mentioning that he'd help him escape afterward. Jing, with a cold and firm gaze, simply says he won't consider his proposals and that it's only out of respect for Chief Su that he hasn't acted yet. However, he asks Xihong to keep his distance from now on. Xihong ignores the advice and keeps pressing, asking if Zosen is threatening him to stay away. He mentions that while Zosen forces him, he also feels Jing somehow controls Zosen in return. Jing only replies that he listens to Zosen, and that's it. Xihong then asks sarcastically how Zosen would feel if he were covered in another alpha's pheromones. Hearing this, Jing realizes he's been emitting pheromones and panics, running home as fast as he can, thinking that if he smells like another alpha, he'll certainly face harsh consequences. He needs to get rid of the scent before the lunatic Zosen returns. Jing heads straight to the bathroom and starts a shower so rushed he doesn't even take off his clothes. He spots Zosen there, who asks where he's been. Jing replies effusively that he was just taking a walk, which Zosen mocks, saying he's adorably clumsy when lying. Meanwhile, outside the cafe, Xihong wonders if he went too far by releasing his pheromones on Jing, but concludes that even if he did, he needs it to achieve his goal. His thoughts are interrupted by Chief Su, who asks what he's doing there. Xihong says he's just getting some fresh air, and asks his father if he and Mingming have already packed their things. Chief Su replies that they're almost done. However, he asks if Xihong really wants to leave and what's going on that he won't tell him. Xihong takes a deep breath and tells his father he can't say yet, asking him to trust him. He swears he'll explain everything once this is over. Chief Su understands his son's words and doesn't press further, heading inside the cafe while Xihong stays alone outside. But a strange, shadowy-looking child, who appears to be a girl, tells Xihong that time is running out and they need him to deliver the goods soon. Xihong breaks into a cold sweat at these words and begs the girl to give him just 3 more days to finalize the deal. At this point, the focus returns to Jing and Zosen. The black-haired man remarks that Jing is very cute when he lies, and Jing explains what happened. He was suspicious of something related to Su Xihong and decided to ask Chief Su directly. But when he arrived, only Xihong was there, and he released pheromones on him just to provoke him. Zosen, with a cold expression, says he doesn't care about that guy's intentions. What matters is that Jing broke their agreement and is now contaminated. Zosen explains that because of this, he has no choice but to mark him. At that moment, he notices Jing acting strangely, as if his breathing is heavy and deep, his face flushed, and his body temperature rising. Zosen asks if this is because of Xihong's pheromones, and Jing, pushing Zosen away, begs him to ask Daniel to bring the suppressants as quickly as possible. As he sits, he thinks that even releasing his own pheromones, he can't relieve the heat he's feeling. As he loses control, the pain in his body becomes increasingly unbearable. In a desperate move, Jing asks Zosen to give him a temporary mark. Zosen questions why, since Jing always protected his glands, but now he's practically begging for a mark. Because of this, he asks if Jing would ask another alpha if he weren't there. Desperate, Jing tells him to stop joking and mark him quickly. Zosen replies that delaying the temporary mark will only prolong the heat, saying he already understands Jing's special beta physiology. He adds that a permanent mark is only a matter of time, and once marked, he won't feel another alpha again. Jing just kisses him, and as they're together, Zosen asks him to allow a permanent mark, but Jing keeps insisting on taking it slow, saying he only wants a temporary one. Jing thinks that Zosen's gentleness is pushing his heat to the limit, making him delirious. Gradually, the gentleness disappears, replaced by something intense, where there's no more restraint. After the intensity, Zosen says while hugging Jing that he's been permanently marked. After an intense night, the sun rises, signaling morning. Jing, slowly waking up, thinks being permanently marked by Zosen is complicated. His pheromones try to resist, but the mark is too strong. Jing mentally notes that some reactions have already started to take effect. His pheromones give him a sense of security, but he still needs to keep releasing his own to remain at least somewhat lucid. At that moment, Zosen arrives and seems surprised that Jing is awake. Jing, furious, punches him in the face for what he did, saying he'll kill him for it. Zosen, however, catches the second punch and pins Jing on his back on the bed, climbing on top of him. He mentions that a marked omega can't resist an alpha, just like betas can't either, and that, even before the mark, Jing never had the courage to kill him, so it certainly won't happen now. Jing, completely dazed, thinks Zosen is using his pheromones to suppress his anger. Meanwhile, Zosen says his expression is wonderful because of the contradiction. On one hand, he's furious, but on the other, he needs the comfort of his pheromones. He even calls it unfair. Considering this, Zosen proposes a deal he thinks is fair. He promises to fulfill all of Jing's needs, except obviously letting him go, because all he wants is for Jing to be okay. He also says he dreams of seeing the Jing from last night, the one who desired him so much. Jing tells him to shut up but thinks his body can't resist anymore because of the mark. He also considers that he'll need surgery to remove it. Since betas have a low chance of pregnancy, he probably isn't pregnant, which makes things easier. After another kiss between them, the scene shifts to a tense moment where Zosen's men capture Xihong. One of them remarks that he seems to be from Interpol. Renyu, upon seeing Xihong, unlocks a memory from his past, mentioning that the man in front of them saved Manhwa during the Kalfa incident 10 years ago. On his knees, Xihong asks Renyu if his brother is also part of the organization. Renyu confirms it and then asks why Xihong approached Jing. What are his real objectives? Xihong simply replies that his goal was to be captured by them, so he could uncover the organization behind it all. Then, in a swift move, he elbows one of Zosen's men, switches positions, and pins him down as a hostage, taking control of the situation. He pulls up the restrained man's sleeve and sees a tattoo matching the Burnett organization's mark, the gang that devours other gangs. He then says he wants to see Jing and explain everything because deep down he wants to negotiate with them. Zosen, however, says he isn't the one calling the shots here. He points a gun at Xihong with a fierce glare and warns that if he lays a hand on any of his people, he'll die 1,000 deaths. At that moment, Jing walks in and tells everyone to leave. He'll talk to Xihong alone. Zosen refuses, but Jing plays his own game, asking, "Who promised to fulfill all my needs?" Cornered, Zosen and the others leave, leaving Jing and Xihong alone. Once they're finally by themselves, Jing tells Xihong to say whatever he needs to say. Xihong begins. Over the past few years, he's been tracking Kalfa's movements. Using his job, he privately investigated and discovered that the organization has been active in this area, his hometown, so he returned to see for himself. He continues, saying they never caught Kalfa's founder 10 years ago, and he suspects there's a mole inside Interpol. That's the main reason he didn't allow anyone from the organization to get involved. He then asks for their help in his mission, offering full cooperation, but in exchange he needs one favor. He wants Burnett to protect his family. Jing listens calmly, but now it's his turn to ask questions. First, he wants to know why the residents don't recognize Xihong. Xihong explains that his work is dangerous. Over the past decade, he's confronted many organizations and wanted criminals. Now though, he plans to leave that life behind and move somewhere else with his father and brother, because he doesn't want them in danger because of him. Jing agrees to the terms, saying they'll focus on protecting his family, and tells him to follow. Before they leave, Xihong notices Jing's strong alpha pheromones. "You've been permanently marked by Zosen?" Jing, irritated, grabs Xihong's shirt and snaps that this tragedy only happened because of him, and now he has to deal with the consequences. Xihong apologizes, saying he never expected things to go this far. He thought betas weren't affected by pheromones or marking. Jing must be a rare case. He then repeats his earlier offer. If Jing ever needs it, he'll help him escape the organization. Jing considers it but says they should wait until the mission is over to decide what comes next. Like it or not, Burnett is their only weapon against Kalfa. After their conversation, they return to Zosen and his group. Jing explains the situation, confirming that Su Xihong will help them. Zosen, understanding, angrily points at Xihong and orders him to stay away from Jing. He tells Renyu to increase security and prioritize Chief Su and Mingming's safety. Zosen then asks Renyu how his brother Renzwa is doing. Renyu replies that he sent a video. When they watch it, they see a massive ruin covering about 2 square kilometers, meaning the auction will likely be underground with multiple potential entry points. Xihong, seeing Renzwa in the video, remarks that he's grown. He questions why Renyu sent his younger brother on such a dangerous reconnaissance mission. Renyu tells him not to underestimate his brother. Renzwa can handle extremely difficult missions with ease now. A heated argument breaks out, with Xihong insisting it's an older brother's duty to protect his sibling, while others tell him to shut up because it's none of his business. Jing steps in, telling them to stop. This argument is irrelevant, and they need to focus on the mission. Suddenly, Xihong's phone rings. It's his father. Chief Su, voice frantic, says Mingming is missing. The team rushes to the cafe, where Xihong desperately asks his father what happened. Chief Su says Mingming probably didn't want to be locked inside and ran away. He's searched everywhere, even checking surveillance cameras, but there's no trace of him. Zosen orders Renyu to expand the search and bring more men. Xihong reassures his father they'll find Mingming. Chief Su breaks down, crying, "I can't lose another son." Xihong remembers the girl's warning. Time is running out. Deliver the goods to the specified location ASAP. Suspicion dawns on him. He tells Jing he has an idea where Mingming might be and asks him to follow, but not to alert the organization, as the commotion could put Mingming in danger. Jing agrees and follows. As they walk through the night, Jing asks if they're close. Xihong nods, pointing ahead. But when Jing turns to look, Xihong suddenly presses a drugged cloth over his nose and mouth, whispering an apology. Sometime later, Jing wakes up groggily. Xihong apologizes again, saying his priority will always be protecting his family. Even in his drowsy state, Jing realizes the truth. Kalfa wants to turn him into an auction item. He stares at Xihong and asks, now that he's been captured, if he can at least know the truth. "Drop the Interpol act," Jing says. "Who are you really?" With that cliffhanger, the episode ends. And wow, this story is incredible. Are you enjoying it? Do you want more? If you loved it, leave a like, hype it up in the comments, and subscribe with notifications on so you don't miss the next release.